Within this mini lecturette, I'm going to combine chapters 4 and chapter 5. They, again, remember their companion pieces. Chapter 4 it talks about the liminality and the study of a changing academic landscape, and this was contributed by primary author Pamela Bettis and secondary author Michael Mills. Remember, the theoretical framework is liminality, and the field of study or the discipline is anthropology. The focus of study is experiences of university faculty within a college reorganization. And the overview of the study that formed the basis for the discussion of the theoretical framework is that the two chapters that are companion, they share two different theoretical frameworks used in better understanding how faculty made sense of the reorganization occurring within their work environment. Both frameworks focus on social construction and sense-making as a process by which people create their social worlds and their identities. The purpose, two departments within a college were combined into one department. Little research had yet to be really done on how faculty make sense of a merger such as that and how they construct their new forms of identity in their new organizational home. Essential questions of the study, there were two of them, and the first one was, how did university faculty members experience and make sense of their professional lives, identities, and work during such a major reorganization in their college of education? And the second question, what contributed to or distracted from faculty members' identity construction and organizational identification as faculty members from different academic programs coming together in a newly organized academic department? The methodology or methods used included journals that all faculty members were requested to write throughout the reorganization that occurred during the first year. There were self-select topics that faculty members could write their thoughts and feelings about what was going on, but there was also some guided questions that they asked for specific responses to. Secondary methods included collecting artifacts such as emails, memos, committee reports, things like that. The detailed description of the theoretical framework, to give you an idea of what liminality is about, the concept of liminality was used as a theoretical vehicle to make sense of the dynamic interaction between the individual faculty members' responses to changes in their work lives and identities and the changing political, economic, and social landscape of higher education. Liminality provided a framework for embedding the day-to-day micro context of university life within that of the wider macro social and economic changes taking place. Liminality is associated with Victor Turner. He's an anthropologist whose work explores the rituals and symbols in traditional African tribes. Turner's definition of liminality described a transitional period and status during the rites of passages. Liminality, from Turner's viewpoint, was an interstructural stage in which individuals or groups gave up one social state but had yet to enter the new prescribed social state with accompanying responsibilities and perspectives. Thus, the individuals were betwixt and between social statuses. Symbolism surrounding people in this state of liminal states is often very complex. Everyone is most usually treated very equal because there's been no hierarchy determined. Relationships among liminal individuals were and are of extreme equality. And I've got to reach down, find the rest of my notes because I think I got rid of them thinking I did not need them. Okay. Found it. Ripped it in half. Here we go. Yeah, I'm still on. This is just a little side note. Give you a little chuckle in the middle of watching. Okay, still talking about liminality. In 1991, Zukin referred to the theoretical framework of liminality as representing neither this nor that, but both and more. This notion of liminality, articulated by Zukin as a transitional social and economic period between industrialism and post-industrialism and modernism and postmodernism, provided a conceptual framework for explaining the macro-intellectual and economic changes in all of higher education. So you can kind of see where this really, the social or organizational identity and identification during departmental reorganization, how this liminality really lends itself well. Because as you bring two departments together and faculty really are in that between and betwixt situation, as well as looking at Zukin's neither this nor that, but both and more. And so it was a very good framework for them to look deeper into this area. The contributing authors, Bettis and Mills, go on to share how they located the theoretical framework used, discarded the others, the effects of the theoretical framework on the research, and they conclude with a critique of the theoretical framework within their study. Now remember, the companion chapter is Chapter 5, Organizational Identity and Identification during Departmental Reorganization. And here we've got the primary contributing author being Michael Mills, and the secondary is Pamela Bettis. So it's just flip-flopped in this particular one. Theoretical framework is social identity theory and self-categorization. The field of study or discipline is sociology and organizational studies. And the focus of study is experiences of university faculty in a college reorganization. The overview is the same as what we just went over. The questions remain the same with how did university faculty members experience and make sense of their professional lives, identities, and work during a major reorganization in their college of education, and what contributed or distracted from faculty members' identity construction and organizational identification as faculty members from different academic programs came together in a newly organized academic department. What's different here is the second theoretical framework that was used to delve deeper into the research and focused on organizational identity and identification. The contributing authors share that culture is the internal and symbolic context for organizational identity. Therefore, the same processes of social construction and sense-making are involved in developing and perpetuating both organizational culture and organizational identity. Organizational culture and identity become, with this prime consideration, it sets the context for organizational identity, which in turn, it says a lot about who organization members are and how they would like to think about themselves. The process of identification is complicated, however, because neither the individual nor the organization has a singular identity or even consistency among multiple aspects of identities. The theoretical framework chosen reflects the work of Alvison and Wilmot's overview of 4 ways individuals within organizations serve to define. 1, the employed by directly defining characteristics. 2, action orientations by defining appropriate work through motives, morals, and abilities. And 3, social relations by defining belongingness and differentiation. And 4, fit with the social, organizational, and economic terrain. The organizational identity and identification theoretical framework went even deeper by including specific theories focused on the third aspect, the social relations by defining belongingness and differentiation. Explanations of identity formation via belongingness, known as social identity theory, or SIT, and self-categorization theory, SCT, to the identities of organizations and identification within the organizations. Seeing the usefulness for this specific research study, contributing authors noted that these theories have also been used in research on mergers in organizations, thereby reinforcing the usefulness of using the theoretical framework in studying the organizational identity of the merging departments within the college. So again, we're looking at the two departments merging into one, and the identity that evolves from that, and then also the framework allowed the researchers to look individually at how new identities were formed of the workers or the faculty members within this new emerging department. The contributing authors, Mills and Bettis, they go on to share how they located this particular theoretical framework that was used, how they discarded the others, the effects of the theoretical framework on the research, a critique of the theoretical framework within their study, and conclude with additional comments regarding their research study.